What's going on, everybody? This is Brian here with the No Stress Midwest podcast. We are lucky enough to be joined by one of my good friends, soccer player, musician, yogi, a little bit of everything, just an all-around laid-back, super cool dude. Joe Amico is joining us today from the Energy down in Oklahoma City. Joe, how's things going, man?
Man, it's going well. Coming off a pretty big loss last night. My first time actually being back in the squad after surgery, but man, I can't complain.
Now, I remember you texted me yesterday before the game saying that you were in the 18, which is big because you went down there and you were obviously injured. And I know that happened at your last spot in OC. So how's things been down in Oklahoma? How did you get down there? And we happen to know the same guy, your coach, JP. So how's it been playing with him?
Man, it's been great. You know, in the off season, I came. I was playing for OC the last 2 years.
And, OC, where's that?
Orange County.
All right, USL, right?
Orange County, California. I was playing in the Western Conference the last 2 years, so that's been great. But got to the end of my contract, and just as a free agent in the off season, I got a call from John Pasquarella, who we knew him through Kansas City back when I played in the academy. And said some good things, had a good deal out there, and I took it. And I've been here. I moved here January since preseason. So, yeah, when I moved out here, so it was only the first week of preseason. We were just jogging around, and I felt a jolt almost in my hip area. Mm-hmm. I just knew something was wrong, man. And then, got the scan and found out that I had a torn labrum and hip impingement in my right hip.
Okay.
So, basically it was just, I was told, you definitely need surgery on this. So I got surgery. I got surgery in February, the beginning of February. I was out about a month, and then kind of crazy how the world works, but COVID hit.
Yeah. So
once COVID hit, everyone was kind of, not doing anything. But I remember that time. It was still hard for me to see the positive in that for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just get a month out of surgery, I had to completely learn how to walk again and stuff. So, that takes a toll. But now, being where I am now, and only 2 games into this new season, I see the positives of that. So
yeah. Well, it's cool. Obviously we're friends on Instagram, so I follow you, the stories. I've seen the long recovery process from being able to first learn to walk to then you doing some jogging to now you full contact in the 18. So that's been awesome to kind of see you go through that. You mentioned something that the last 2 guys we talked to said, and I think it's good because it shows that it's a theme amongst professional players. And you said you're trying to find the good in the injury. And obviously it's tough to find anything positive when you're injured. But one thing that's been talked about is the mental aspect of being a professional player, and how you're down, you get injured at your last team, contract's over, and now you're an injured player. And it's really tough to see anything good in that. You were lucky to get brought onto a team that, you knew the coach, and now you're back in the 18. So that's been a success. But what's that mental process like?
I feel like that's the thing about being professional. In college, you kind of have these short seasons, and that's all you get. But at the pro level, you really realize that it's almost a full year season. So it's really just about tuning in mentally and overcoming it. That's part of the game. That's almost is equal. Everyone at this level is good, but as equal to that is your mental side. So it was definitely tough. It was challenging in the beginning, and seeing that I'm out and still being around the guys, but not being able to compete was obviously very hard. But I think in the end, that's what I take from it is that, man, I know that I can overcome a surgery like that, as big as that, over hip, learn how to walk again. And it really just, built me up to be even stronger. It kind of reshaped my focus in the game. Now, it really helped me to understand that the only thing you can really do is put your head down and work. And it was that same process through surgery. I played all these scenarios in my head. Would I be back playing? How many games would I miss? But at the end of the day, the only thing I could really do was continue with my rehab, do my physical therapy. And man, it just really, I feel like helped sharpen my mental toughness. And I feel the same now, even just being back, but I want to play right away. I didn't get my first minutes last night. Obviously, because it has to be the right situation, fitness-wise and stuff, getting back into it. But it just reminds me all the time that the only thing I can do is just focus on what I can control and work. So.
Yeah, that's big. Focus on what you can control, and especially during this, COVID situation, that's the main thing, right? That I think that all of us can do is just focus on what's in your control. Whatever is in your control, you just got to let be and hope that it finds its way. So, all right. So we kind of got into the current Joe situation, but let's take it back a few years. Okay. Where did you play in college? Where are you from? Where did you play in high school? What was the situation of getting to college? What helped you more, the club side or the high school side, or both? Was it you? Talk to me about all that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana. I was there till I was 16. I was about 16. That's where I'm from, Naptown, shout out Naptown. And then when I turned 17, my dad got a job in Columbia, Missouri. So I moved to Missouri. I'm a junior in high school. It's the beginning of my junior year. I'm just going there. Soccer season is not planning basically to play high school. I was 2 hours away from Kansas City. So I didn't know.
Wait, hey, Joe, hold on. Go back to, you kind of froze a bit.
Okay.
Just start back with your junior year when your dad moved. Start with that.
Okay. So it's my junior year of high school. My dad took a job in Columbia, Missouri. So I moved there with him. I just got enrolled in school and stuff. It's a couple weeks in. I don't really know too much about soccer. I guess I'm thinking that I'm going to play high school soccer because, I'm 2 hours from Kansas City. And then and I hadn't talked to anyone, or St. Louis. So randomly my dad gets a call from Sporting, and still to this day, I have no idea how they even found out that I moved. So
yeah,
shout out to whoever made that happen. But they gave my dad a call basically telling me to come try out. And, hearing how big that was, I was super excited. So I just I ended up going to a tryout there. They basically were like, we'll give you a week, see how you do. At that time, I was a winger back then, so I go up to the tryout. They basically told me we have one position. After the week, they're like, our right back just broke his leg. Like, can you play right back? And I remember being just like, absolutely, I'll play wherever.
Yeah, wherever.
So yeah, that's how I got started with the Sporting Kansas City Academy. And then, I'm about a junior. Over the next year and a half, junior to senior year, we started going to developmental showcases. And I just kind of started emailing coaches. And good. Cool. I started emailing coaches, and UCF at one of the showcases, I just sent out a bunch of emails. I'm trying to go anywhere warm at this point. I'm trying to get out of the Midwest.
Anywhere but Indiana or Missouri.
Yeah.
Out of there.
Yeah, I got to get out of there. So I'm emailing lots of coaches, and I emailed Central Florida, and they ended up at one of the games. And just, I guess I played really well. They saw they saw something in me and told me after 2 weeks of talking, basically they offered me a full scholarship, and there was a no-brainer. I'm just a kid from Indianapolis. I used to play in my backyard. I was like, cool, got to college, got it paid. I was like, awesome. Yeah. So, then started there, had a good year there. Coach left to Jacksonville University. and I ended up transferring there with him, and just, I had 3 good years. It was Jacksonville University is a small school, only about 4,000. So it was about my senior year. I'm playing well and everything, but realistically, I knew that it was unlikely I would make it into the MLS draft, coming from a small conference, small school. So, I did the same thing, almost like I did in.
What division is that? Division One?
Yeah, it's Division
Okay.
One. It's like the Atlantic Sun Conference.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I almost did the same thing in high school. I talked to my coach after the season, and he recommended and said he would help, and helped a little bit, and just reached out to, agents, teams, and I actually reached out to Sporting, and they basically told me, come to the tryout. They had like the open tryout, but they said they'd look at me there and stuff. And so I went there in the middle of my last senior year, and ended up, them telling me they like me and they're going to give me a contract with their second team, with Swope. So my senior year of college was kind of crazy, because the second semester, when I got the contract, from January to April till I graduated, I was going back and forth half of the month to Kansas City, and then half of the month to Jacksonville. And dude, it was crazy. I'm so thankful Sporting let me do that. I don't know if they'll ever let anyone do that again, because it was tough. But man, I'm so thankful for that year, just getting to 12. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you were an academy player, and you went to university to play, and so that didn't help you out at all with coming in for a tryout? Was that, you being an academy player, the invite to the tryout, or how was that?
Absolutely. I'm sure a lot of players reached out, but just being in their academy, coming from there, they, especially Sporting Kansas City, they love their ladder system. They love as much as they can to get you from youth to the academy. And it was just part of the ladder. And I think that definitely helped. Obviously a good player, but that, they want to be able to develop and say, we took this kid from academy to the pro ranks. So definitely it got my foot in the door. Okay. Now, I had to do my own part to get there, but it definitely helps. So, but my first pro year with Swope was amazing. Being gone and stuff, I didn't play that much. I only ended up getting like 15 minutes that whole year. I usually wouldn't travel with the team, but I would get to train with the first team, which is amazing. Like, coming out of college, a small school, to being in that environment was just incredible. I did 1 year there, and then I had an option. They didn't pick up my option. Right. But I think for me personally, that was the best situation I could have been in, to get that experience, to develop at that level, and just, get up to speed, because it's a curve, man. Coming from, even if you go to one of the top colleges, coming from college to the pro level, from college in America to the pro level, it's hard. It takes time. The game's completely different. So. Right.
Well, and that time when you were here is when we met. And that time I was hanging out with you, a few other guys that were on the team, and we had made some music. This is when I found out that Joe was a rising musician. And I remember he came over one day and came over into the studio that we're in now. It's been gutted a bit. And he was just like, dang, man, you play piano? Dude, I play guitar. I got to come back with my guitar. And ever since then, dude, he would come over every time with the guitar, and we would sit there and just kind of jam out. Made a few videos of different just like jam sessions. But then now to see where you've come with not just guitar, but then I remember you hit me up, we're like, yo, I'm picking up piano. And then now you're doing piano, and then you're telling me before we hopped on that you're doing instrumental beats and all that stuff. So how has music kind of served as a therapeutic way for you to kind of release from the stresses and the ups and downs of being a professional player and all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, it's just been awesome. When we met, as we met in Kansas City, I was kind of new to guitar. I was still learning it. But it was just something that allowed me, in in the pro world, I feel like you have so much time outside of training. You know, you're training. You know, my day starts at 7. It's probably done at 12. And
Right.
that's through practice, putting all the work in and everything. So I just had so much free time, and I started with guitar, and I was just hungry to learn, to be good, and I'm competitive in any realm. So I wanted to be the best. So that's
Right.
kind of just how it got me started. I'd come home from training and just start learning on guitar, looking up YouTube videos, and it kind of that was what, like maybe 4 years ago, and it's been something that I've built on since then. And it's not even something that I think about too much. It's just what I feel like doing. It
What
just
you
feels
do.
good. It's something that allows me to relax, and it's just kind of just like anything. It's expanding. I went from only guitar or from ukulele to only guitar to now doing piano and trying to make beats. It's just something that kind of has grown with me, and I love to do that. So.
Yeah, and it's been cool to see that progress, and we always joke about, like, if you now would have met me then with
Yeah,
our
would
musician,
have some magic.
you had some hits, man. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah.
all right, so you got done with college, you get brought on with sporting,
Mhm.
you had the year there with Swope. I know you were with the U23s for some, I believe, playing, and you're, with the first team. So then what happened when the contract wasn't picked up?
Yep.
Where'd you
So
go?
yep. So from that point, I got an agent, and shout out to PJ Savage. He's with Highland Sports Management.
There we
My
go.
guy.
Plug.
He's
Gotta
been great.
plug.
Yeah. So I met him, and he just got me some trials. I went to OC.
Mhm.
And again, I had back against the wall almost. I felt like I had to prove myself, but I did that, and they ended up offering me, a contract there. Started with them, and I feel like at that point was kind of, a little bit of my breakout. Is that that first year, I started probably 50% of the games. We had a great team. We actually ended up losing in the Western Conference Finals to Phoenix Rising and Musa
Yeah.
and Drogba, which was to even play against Drogba was ridiculous. But I was
Right.
starting left back, um, and yeah, I had a great year, and that's how the year ended. It was kind of like the realization for me that I'm definitely good enough to be at this level and starting to excel.
Right.
So I had
So
a great,
it's
yeah.
funny because you brought up something, and I'm glad you said it again because I wanted to circle back to it. So when you had your first tryout with Sporting Academy, you were a winger, and they said, "Oh man, hey, you played great, you did well, but the
Mhm.
only open position we have is outside back. So what's up?"
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
said, without even thinking about it, "Sign me up."
Sign me
Right?
up.
And what and for me, I remember when I was a young kid, I was in a situation in California, and I
Mhm.
tried out for this really good team, and I was a forward as well. And I tried out. They're like, "Look, you did great, you played well. We unfortunately have too many forwards. Can you try playing another position?" And I said no. I was like, "I'm a forward, that's it." And
There goes.
yeah, and I wound up not making the team that year, and the coach told me why. And after that, I learned how to play every single position so that
Yeah.
wouldn't happen. And then here you go, first time it gets hit with you. You obviously are a lot wiser than me. You made the right decision. And then now, from that decision, you being put in that position as a kid, to fast forward to right now, you're playing outside back against Didier Drogba in the Western Conference Championship, right? Like,
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
It is, bro. Life's full circle. Just how that all came around. It's really crazy. And man,
So,
I,
go ahead,
I
go ahead.
I just sharing the field with him was just crazy. Even just I don't know him personally like Musa, but even like playing against him is just incredible.
Right. So you mentioned that you got an agent
Mhm.
while your time here, or the end of your time here in KC, to help you with the Orange County move. What was that like? What's that process like? Do you go to like
Yeah.
findaagent.com and like upload highlight reels and say, "Someone pick me up, I'm good"?
Yeah. So man, agents are it's it's kind of interesting that dynamic of thing, because just like anywhere, there's agents promising you everywhere. You go to Instagram, you type hashtag soccer agent, you'll find some, and then it's kind of all through connections how it happened for me. But I had a couple agents just randomly reach out. I don't know how it happened. I'm sure they heard through someone else, but I used my connections. I just kind of started hitting people up who I knew played, and basically like, hey, do you have an agent? Da 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 da. I reached out through one of my friends who plays professional too, and he gave me his agent. And I called him, told him my situation, and he wasn't just like, yep, I'll take you. He was kind of like, okay, let me do my research, find out about you. He called Sporting, asked them kind of like a profile about me, and they gave a great recommendation of me as a player, which I obviously appreciate. And as they helped me even get to that point. And he just was like, yep. So I go, at that point, he's telling me, like, once he said he'll be my agent, like, I'm going to do what I do. I'll find places for you to go.
Yeah.
And he got me to OC. And I remember OC was like, we really like you. We're going to bring you back for preseason. So I'm going back to Jackson, back to college. Not back. I'm done then. I went back to Florida in the off season thinking like, okay, I have a trial. And then 4 days later, my agent, PJ, calls me and he's like, hey, I have a deal. And I don't know how he does this thing, but that's what they do.
That's what they do, man. That's what they do, man. They make it happen. They make it happen.
Man, make it happen for real. So he's like, I got a deal for you. And then, that's how I got to OC. And like I said, I had the good year there, and they picked up my option. So going into my second season with OC, I got the confidence building. I'm playing well, and it was more of the same. Just another great year there. Started a little bit more like 60 to 70, I'd say %. And, had another great year, and, had some exciting things happen. Obviously, my goal is to get to MLS. I had some interest there from my agent, and some teams wasn't able to get a deal done. But, I got blessed with a great deal here, and it's where I am now. So,
yeah.
So kind of up the speed of right where I am now.
So when you had your time here at Sporting Academy, and when you came back as a professional with Swope, did you have much interaction with Peter as the first team coach? Did you have much interaction? I know you said that you trained with the first team guys. What was that interaction? Was it a lot, little? How did they, what was that all about?
Yeah, it was, it was just like if I wouldn't travel with the team or they needed numbers, they would just call me in.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you're training with the first team. And I remember it being so exciting back then. And, even back then I was just reminding myself, like, it doesn't matter why you're here or whatever, just train. So with Peter, when I would train with him, it was normal.
Any coach to play.
Me or he's screaming at someone else. Normal it is. So it was just regular at that point. But man, it was great just being in that environment. And, you really get brought up to speed quick. And there's a learning curve there too. And it's good. It's really good to. It's a blessing to be in that when you're not quite there yet, because the guys aren't cutting you slack there. They're not like, oh, he's on Swope. Like,
right.
Like giving you the ball, and you learn that. And, you just see that. That's my goal. So to see that, it's just always a great feeling.
So now you're back. You're back in the first squad. You're back to training. Everything's good. Out of all the places that you've played, and let's start with university, and then with Swope, and then OC, and then the Energy. How has the Energy, not so much, not OKC Energy, but how's the dynamic? How's all that been from each style of locker room, especially from college to pro, and then the variations of each pro organization?
Sorry, you broke up a little bit there. The last thing you said.
Yeah, sorry. So how has the experience and the energy been from each pro locker room versus the college to pro locker room? What's it like?
Man, I remember it being a different feeling for sure, like a major different feeling going from college to pro. The like difference in the locker room. In the college locker room, it's a short season, and the coach is really like saying like everyone together, like you need to look out for your next guy, make sure he's here, make sure he's there, or else it's everyone's fault, dude. And I remember going to the the pro locker room, and it's just like everyone's on their own. It's like you got guys who are friends and they look out for you and stuff, but it's like you got to take care of your own career now.
Yeah.
So I remember that being a different feeling there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been going, from KC to OC. It was just kind of more of the same there. You're just growing. You're kind of on your own. You take care of your own body. You know what you need, and you speak up when you need something. And
right.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same here too. What I love about here is you feel supported. They have a great support system from the top of management all the way down. If you need anything, they take care of that. So yeah,
That's dope. That's
mm-hmm.
dope. Well, hey man, that was I want to kind of gear things a little bit now into more questions that the followers have talked to me about asking, and so you're aware majority of our listeners and followers are going to be either current youth players in the high school and younger level, maybe some collegiate level athletes, and then parents of these youth players and college level players. So just so you can kind of have an idea of the audience that's been asking these questions. So one thing is, what advice do you wish that you would have got as a youth player now?
That's a tough one right there. I think I touched on it earlier, but I think just some advice that I could have used back then. But obviously, I am where I am now, so I learned. But I think it would have been good to hear back then is the only thing at the end of the day you can do is put your head down and play.
Yep.
Put your head down and play hard. I think it's easy when you're in the game to get caught up in what other people are saying, what fans are saying, what who's starting where, and it's just there's only so much you can control.
Yep.
I think that would have helped me out a lot hearing that back then, but obviously I learned it now and appreciate that. But I feel like that's some big advice I could give, any players that, like I said, you can only control yourself at the end of the day. No matter what you say, it's gonna come from what you do on the field.
Mm-hmm. Well, and off the field though, in a sense, right? It's on the field, your play is huge, but then what's the locker room presence like? Like, are you fun to be around? Does the team like you? Are you like on social media posting that you're taking shots, every night? Like, those are things that I think a lot of my youth kids they don't realize, or maybe they do realize, which is why they create the fake Instagram pages to do this stuff. But I mean, those things, whether it's being seen or not, are having an effect as well as what you do on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as you continue up the funnel, it only gets smaller, the amount of players. But once you get, to a certain level, when you get to college, everyone's good. Everyone's good around you. And definitely at the pro level, everybody's good. So you have to remember that it does almost become a business like at some point, even in college, because there's money on the line there with scholarships and whatnot. So people definitely care about the whole person, your personality outside. And like you said, if you're good to be around in the locker room, things like that matter. So you definitely gotta, try to be your best you almost in a way. And social media these days is huge. People lose their jobs. It's
crazy, man.
Scholarships, everything. So you gotta consider that. Definitely.
It's crazy. I had I'm a coach, and I had someone trying out for one of my teams, and they happened to look at my Instagram story. So I'm like, hey, who is this? Looked on their story, and they're drinking Jameson. And they're not 21, and I'm just like, dude, what are you thinking?
You gotta think, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, another question is, what do you think was more beneficial to getting you to the professional level. And you're someone that, and not a lot of people I think can fit this, but you played DA and then you played college. So do you think that the DA Sporting Academy prepared you more for obviously ending up with Swope at the time? Or do you think that playing in college for those 4 years was more beneficial?
Absolutely academy, like absolutely. The game's just different. In college, it's, like I said, it's a 2.5 month season, so they're just trying. I mean, they're just trying to get wins, no matter how they get that. I feel like in college, part of their job is to, which is beneficial, but to transition you from, kind of like a boy to a man, get
Right.
that side of things. As to where in Swope, there was that too, but it was more tactical. They're not just, they want to win, but they're not solely focused on winning and getting into a conference tournament. So I think the whole organization of Kansas City and Sporting, I think that was definitely more beneficial. To me, it got me more on the technical side and just kind of seeing, you really see, even in the academy, even before the academy and their youth program, you see what it's like for players who are better than you, and players who are around you. You see how they live the football life, and I feel like from there you learn that it's more than just on the field. It's how you take care of your body. It's how you're acting outside of training. So I think that was definitely more beneficial for me. It's different for everyone. I don't want to say that college is not the route.
Right.
If you have the opportunity to play in an organization like that, I feel like you never turn that down.
Jump on that, yeah.
And that's how the game's changing these days. Even as you see, kids are 17 over going to Europe now and killing it and going all over the world. So I feel like that's kind of where it's going. Is to, back in the day, for Americans, we used to need college to get to the pro level. It was like you had to get there. And anymore, you can just play academy. You get all the way to academy, and then they're throwing you in with the second team. And by the time you're 17, 18, you already have professional starts under your belt, and then you're already going. So in my opinion, I think academy is, if you're in a good academy, is more beneficial.
Well, and I'm a high school coach, right? So I'm someone that it's been put where it's either your high school or your DA. It's, oh man, if you're a high school coach, oh, DA is so bad, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like that if you're good enough, right, and you want to play professional soccer, I think that if, like you said, if you're at a good DA program, you go to that. I think that most high school coaches, right, are teachers that are coaching on the side. So if you're someone that has pro aspirations, and it's like, be with a professional coach who I get to work with 9 months out the year, 4 days, 5 days a week, or be with my social studies teacher who, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's a no-brainer. And like I said, I'm a high school coach, so I have a ton of kids that are at my high school that are playing for Sporting. But I also know that Sporting has put together, from what I hear on the outside and from someone that was on the inside, one hell of an academy. Right. And I think that's credit to PV, to John Perry, to all the people that are going from the pro ranks all the way down to finding that 13-year-old kid, or finding that kid from Indianapolis wondering, hey, where did they find me? I think that's mad props to them for building an academy and promoting the pathway from DA to Swope to Sporting.
Yeah, man, it's really incredible to see and to be a part of. Man, they just have their system down. Even to think, we were talking about college or the academy. They have, they bring in players, and they just kind of, now they're able to say, like, if they like you enough, you can work a deal in there where they pay for your college online, and they help you get through college while still focusing on soccer. And that's incredible, man.
That's it. I mean, that's
17, instead of going to college, staying there and getting your education paid for while focusing on soccer. You can't beat that.
No, that's awesome. So yeah, man. So how's things been now with COVID being over with? You're finally playing. There's no fans in the stadium, right? Not yet.
There is,
There
yeah.
are
It's kind of,
fans. Okay, they're
yeah,
okay.
it
Wow, okay.
kind of depends on where you're at. But here, we have enough seats so they do like social distancing and spacing out. So
Okay, so you were able to return and you now have some fans there.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
in comparison, what does the fans look like compared to when you played in college versus when you played DA? Right? Is
Yeah.
it, or is it still a lot of fans where it makes a difference, or is it kind of that old school feel?
Are you saying like right now or just like in general
Right
though?
now, right now, right now.
So being back from injury, yesterday was my first time being back, with the squad, and we were at home. So they have great support here. Obviously it's limited capacity now, so it's some thousands. It's not like probably lower thousands now with the limited capacity, but it's been great here. Yeah, like with the support, they do a really good job with their fans and social media and everything. So even with the limited capacity right now, it's a feeling. You're feeling that in game day, and you're here in the crowd, and you're in that experience. So
Yeah.
for me, college, playing at a small school wasn't. We'd have fans, but it wasn't anything to where you feel like you're in this
This massive thing, right?
experience. I'm definitely feeling that now.
Now you are one of the few. Now I'm not going to say one of the few, but
Mhm.
Swope obviously is now sporting too,
Mhm.
and they haven't played at Swope Park for quite a while. But you were there when they played at Swope. Um,
Yeah.
what was, in comparison, the stadium atmosphere like at Swope versus now? Was it at Taft? What's the name
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it?
that's a tie.
Taft Stadium. What's the comparison?
Well, first off, Taft is turf, so that's a different feel than Swope. Swope was cool. It was, you've been there. Obviously, it was a little smaller, but it was still a good game day experience.
Hmm.
So I'd say it's different here. Just kind of the only thing different is the layout, and we have more fans here. Being in a turf stadium,
Right.
um, you know, versus perfect grass.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
and OKC and OC both didn't have, well, I guess didn't have an MLS team.
right.
So those were kind of like the top teams there,
Yeah,
yeah?
absolutely. That was also a major difference. Being with Swope was cool, and it's good to be there. But man, you know how Kansas City is. People are focused on sporting.
That's
We
it.
got Swope, and that's what's up. But sporting, that's how it is. So
Yeah.
just being in OC was a little more like recognizable. They have a great club there too as well. But then you got 30 minutes down the road, you got LA Galaxy, and we
Ah,
have
okay.
LAFC too. So
Okay. So
as well. So people, but here in Oklahoma City, they're their team,
it's
and
you.
so that's why they have great support here, and they're actually building a stadium. It's already been the plans, but I think it might take a year or two. But
Okay.
yeah, that's like you said. This is their team here. So almost everyone. I haven't met anyone here who doesn't know the energy, which
That's
is
dope.
that's
That's
what you want to be in a part of an environment like that. So.
yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, it's the question that I'm starting to become a fan of now a lot. Just hear people's responses, but we're gonna come to our five-a-side, right? And we're gonna come to first the top or the five people. So you plus four other people who you've played with, anyone that you've played with, the top four, and then we're gonna put together a dream five of anyone that's living.
All right.
So you can add in Messi, Ronaldo, Ramos, Van Dyke, whoever.
All right, my foresight, my foresight.
And there must be a goalie. So
There
keep
must be just anyone that I've ever played with against.
anyone. It could
Okay.
be Ray from sixth grade who you played with like pickup.
36. All right. Well, goalie. Man, I'd probably say, dude, I don't even know. That's a tough one. All right, I won't start with goalie. My
Okay.
four. I'm definitely picking Ilie from Sporting.
All right.
I think he was class. Even just training with him, to seeing his finesse on the way he passed and stuff was just incredible. Great
Yeah.
player. I have to say him. I'd have to say got to throw in my boy Kuzain in there.
Okay.
I've been with him for some years, and he's my guy. So throw him in there. Have to say Drogba, just being a, Drogba himself, one of the greatest strikers ever. And then I guess I need a goalie. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I got to say Amelia, dude.
You have to say who?
Tim Amelia.
Amelia, okay.
Yeah, I'd have to say him. I don't think I ever scored on him in any training, so got to throw him up there.
All right, now for people that you have not played with, but just if you could pick 4 people to take on the world. Anyone in who are we going with?
Man, Ronaldinho.
Man, Ronaldinho.
The whole generation, gotta have Ronaldinho, man. I loved watching him play growing up. He's just someone who always inspired me just to create.
He was so happy
to make new stuff and do whatever. Yeah,
he was so happy all the time with the ball at his foot. World Cup final, Champions League final, training. He just had the biggest smile on his face.
Exactly. That's something I've always tried to remember is just to enjoy it,
Yep.
We all started this game of football to enjoy from kids, and you kind of sometimes lose sight of that. And a player like him always reminded me of that. So
now, Paul, real quick, did you watch the Jogo Bonito videos?
Dude, I have Jogo Bonito tatted, bro.
Bro, I got them both tatted on my wrist after watching that. And I just was like, that inspired me to I've never seen people do that kind of stuff with the soccer ball and to just re-fall in love with the game in a way where I was just like, oh my gosh, these people are amazing.
Yeah, dude, just so much momentum and inspiration from him. So I gotta have Ronaldinho.
All right, we got him.
Marcelo, I'm an outside back. Marcelo, man, I love how free he plays. I like to attack just as he does, and I love his style of defending, just kind of out there, just willing to put it on the line. So I have Marcelo as well.
Maybe he was a forward as well that was told to play outside back.
Yeah.
There we go.
I see it. You gotta have Messi, bro. In my opinion, Messi's the greatest ever. I know everyone has their own opinion.
Right.
Just a player who can do it all. Do it all. There's nothing he can't do.
Yep. And we need a keeper, man. We need a keeper.
Whew. Man. See, that's a tough one. But I'm going to go, just because of personal friendship, I'm going to go with Adrian Zendejas.
Oh, man, Zendejas. Shout outs to Adrian.
Yeah, shout outs to Adrian.
Mad respect.
Great keeper as well, so.
Mad respect.
Good times of being around the world, so got to throw him.
Adrian. Shout outs to Adrian, man.
Shout out to AZ was.
There we go. Hey, I like that.
It's my world travel squad right there.
I'm definitely going. I'm gonna ask you or Adrian for tickets to the game.
You're gonna be the manager, bro.
Hey, that's what I love to hear. Well, look, man, I appreciate everything, Joe. I thank you for taking some time out to chat with us.
No problem.
One final question I have for you is what's your why? And by that I mean, what's the reason that you get up out of bed every day, strap on your cleats, and get to work? Why do you do it? What's your why?
I mean, obviously to get to this point, I've had to sacrifice a lot, not only myself, but everyone around me, especially my parents. Growing up, they're doing everything they can, to just pay the bills, but they always made sure that I, was good and that I was enjoying soccer. So I would definitely say my family, all the loved ones around me, all the sacrifices they did back to them as well. And then just the love of the game, man. Every day I put my cleats on and I'm out there, especially not being able to have played for 6 months. I'm just reminded that this is my first love, the thing that I've always loved to do, no matter where or what I've been going through in life. It's always been there. The sport has always been there for me and continue to give back, as I've put work in. So that's definitely my whys are, just the love for the game and my family. So.
Awesome. Well, look, man, you guys, this is Joe. This was Joe Amico on here. Him and I have talked about once he hangs up the cleats about hopefully coming over to No Stress Midwest
Yes, sir.
and doing something with us. I mean, his whole vibe, everything about him is chill. On top of being a kick-ass soccer player, he's a musician. He does yoga now. I think it's probably a lot of help with due to Ilsa being there. I see you doing the live yoga
Yes,
sessions
sir.
with her all the time.
Yep.
Um,
My girlfriend teaching me yoga.
yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
Joe, man, I appreciate it. Once we get off of here, I'll have to get your address and I'll shoot you over some No Stress Midwest gear. And then
Perfect. Absolutely appreciate
as
that.
as I ask everyone, if you can, and we've already talked about it, but sending me over a signed jersey just so I can
Absolutely.
add it to my collection and hopefully get a wall together of jerseys of podcast
Yeah,
guests.
it'd be
So,
epic for sure.
all right, Joe. Well, hey, any final
Uh,
words? Are you good here?
just work hard, everybody. Enjoy life. Be you.
There we go, my man, Joe Miko. This is the No Stress Midwest podcast, season 3. Thank you for listening.
All right, brother.